Okay. So let's understand what these four terms are: principal, rate, time, and amount. Okay, because we will be coming across these terms in questions. Clear? For example, help me. For example, if I have 1 lakh excess rupees with me, what will I do with this 1 lakh? Either I will invest this 1 lakh somewhere in any business or shares, or in a conservative side. To be on a conservative side, I will deposit it in a bank. I will deposit it in a bank. Okay, why will I deposit it in a bank? Because bank will be paying some extra amount at the end of the time period, isn't it? So it will be paying me 1 lakh rupees plus some extra amount. Okay, now coming to the principal. So the sum of money which on which the interest is calculated is called principal, or the sum of money which is either lent or borrowed is called principal. Okay. Now what did I do with this 1 lakh? Did I lend it to a bank, or did I borrowed it from a bank? I have lent this 1 lakh to a bank. Okay. The bank will lend this 1 lakh to other person, and it will be collecting a higher interest from him. That's how banks make profit, isn't it? So if I deposit 1 lakh rupees in a bank, okay, this 1 lakh rupees is called principal because I have lent this 1 lakh rupees to a bank. Now why will I deposit this 1 lakh in a bank? Because I will be getting an extra amount. For example, if the bank has displayed that the rate of interest is 7%, okay, then what will be the amount that I will be getting after 1 year? What will be the interest that I will be getting after 1 year? Perfect. I will be getting an interest of 7,000, isn't it? I'm only talking about the interest part. I will be getting 7,000, isn't it? So this 7,000 is called interest. And this 7% is called rate of interest. Okay. And remember one thing, interest is always calculated on principal. On principal. Okay. So here this 7% is called rate or rate of interest. Now coming to time. So the time period for which the sum of money is either lent or borrowed is called the time period. So here I am depositing 1 lakh rupees for 1 year. So this 1 year will be the time period here. And what is amount? Amount is nothing but the total sum I will be receiving after the time period. So here if I consider this 1 lakh to be if I have deposited this 1 lakh for 1 year, after 1 year I will be getting my principal which I have deposited in the bank, plus I will be getting interest 7,000 rupees. So at 1 year I will be getting 1 lakh 7,000 rupees, and this is called amount. So clear with all these four terms? Yes or no? Yes. So we have two types of interest: simple interest and compound interest. Okay. So which is easy with respect to your exam? Simple interest is easier or compound interest is easier? Simple interest, isn't it? Simple interest. Okay. Then let's understand the concept of simple interest. Okay. Let's understand quickly. Okay. So, so here I have 10,000 rupees with me, and I have deposited in a bank which pays me 10% rate of interest. 10% is huge nowadays, but let's go with 10%. So in first year, okay, my principal will be 10,000 rupees. Now interest for that year. So interest is always calculated on principal. So interest for that year will be 10% of 10K, which will be 1,000, isn't it? Now what is this cumulative interest? Cumulative interest is the total interest that was accrued till that year. Since this is the first year, the cumulative interest will also be 1000, and amount at the end of first year will be 10,000 plus 1000, which is equal to 11,000. This will be the amount at the end of first year. Now my question, what will be the principal for second year? What will be the principal for second year? Quick responses.
10,000.
10,000 or 11,000? So we have different answers. No, it's not 11,000, guys. In simple, okay, in simple interest, the principal will be constant. So the principal will be again 10,000, not 11,000, because yeah, 11,000 in that we will discuss while discussing compound interest. Okay, but in simple interest, please remember one thing: the principal is constant. Okay, when the principal is constant, interest will always calculated on the principal. So what will be the interest for second year? It will again be 10% of 10,000, which is 1,000. Okay, so I can say that the principal is constant, so the interest accrued on the principal for the given year will also be constant. Okay, so in second year also you will receive an interest of 1,000 rupees. Now what will be the cumulative interest? You have received 1,000 rupees in first year, 1,000 rupees in second year, so it will be 2,000. Now amount at the end of 2 years will be the principal which I have deposited in the bank and the cumulative interest accrued till that year. So 10,000 plus 2,000, which is 12,000. Clear? Now coming to third year. Again the principal will be constant. There will not be any change in the principal. Okay, and interest will also remain same. Interest will also be 1,000 rupees only. Okay, then cumulative interest. You have received 2,000 rupees till second year, 1,000 rupees in the third year, so 3,000 rupees. And amount at the end of 3 years will be 10k, 10,000 plus 3,000. This will be 13,000 rupees. Clear, guys? And so please identify this thing, that principal in simple interest for all the years will be constant, so the interest part as well. So there will not be any change in principal as well as interest. Yes. So if you are asked any question on a simple interest, do we have to make this table, or do we have to solve this in a way, or do we have a direct formulas to calculate simple interest? We direct, perfect. We have direct formulas to calculate simple interest. Okay, and that is PTR by 100. Easy formula, isn't it? Okay, so SI is equal to PTR by 100. Okay, so in questions from simple interest and compound interest, you will be given either any three of these four variables. We have four variables here: simple interest, principal, time, and rate. You will be given with any three, and you will be asked to find the fourth one. Clear? And let's check this formula with respect to this question. For example, let us consider what will be the simple interest if the principal is 10,000 and rate of interest is 10% at the end of 3 years. For 3 years, so SI will be equal to principal, which is 10,000, time period into 3 years into rate of interest is 10 by 100. So this is equal to 3,000 rupees. So same we have got here. Okay, so in this formula, P is principal, time is the time period, and R is rate of interest. So rate of interest is generally given in per annum basis, isn't it? Then you need to consider time in years. Okay, if it is given that rate of interest is 10% per annum, okay, then you need to consider the time in years. If the rate of interest is given in terms of months, for example, 1% per month, then you have to consider time in months. Clear, guys? Quick responses. Is this clear? Yeah. So let's move ahead and solve some questions on simple interest and on simple interest now. Yeah. In Telugu, compound interest is called Chakravarti. Okay. So find the simple interest on sum 25,000 at 10% per annum for 4 years. I'll give you 1 minute. You're asked to calculate only the simple interest, not the amount. Guys, is basic mensuration taught to you? Yes or no? What about mensuration? No. Okay. Yeah. So the answer should be 10,000, I believe. Simple question, isn't it? Okay. So find the simple interest on a sum of 25,000 at 10% per annum for 4 years. Okay. So we are asked to calculate simple interest. We are given with what is this 25,000? This is the principal. 10%, what is this rate of interest? And what is this 4 years? Time period. Okay. So we are given with these three variables and you are asked to determine the fourth one. So SI is equal to PTR by 100, isn't it? So P is equal to 25,000, T is equal to 4 years, R is equal to 10% by 100. So this is 250 into 4 is 1000. 1000 into 10 is 10,000. So the answer for this question will be 10,000 rupees. Clear, simple question, direct application of formulas, isn't it? So the answer should be 10,000. Yes. So I'll give you 1.5 minutes to answer this. We'll discuss this after 1.5 minutes. So questions on simple interest and compound interest will be simple, guys. Okay. So you need to understand what was given in the question, what is asked in the question. Use the formula, get that, and move ahead.
Sir, you are muted.
Okay. Sorry, guys, my bad. Okay. So we have different answers for this question, like 15,000, 33,000, then 18,333, and 412, 855, 515. So before attempting any question from simple interest and compound interest, first let's find out what is given in the question and what is asked in the question. Okay, so these 5.5 years, this is the time period, isn't it? 5% per annum. So we are given with rate. Now, what sum will fetch a simple interest of rupees 4,125? So what is this 4,125? Is it principal or simple interest? This is simple interest, guys. Okay, so many of you have considered that as principal, so please don't do that. This 4,125 is nothing but simple interest. Now, what should be calculated? What should be calculated? We need to calculate the principal. The principal which will yield a sum of rupees 4,125 rupees in 5.5 years at 5% rate of interest, isn't it? Okay, so just substituting that in the formula, SI is equal to PTR by 100. So here we are given with SI 4,125 is equal to principal. We need to calculate that time period. This will be 11 by 2 into rate of interest 5 by 100. So this will be 5, 8, 25, and this will be 75. So principal is equal to 75 into 200. So this should be equal to 15,000. So 15,000 should be the answer for this question. Clear? Clear, guys? Yes. So don't get confused between what was asked in the question and what is given in the question. Okay? Yeah. So moving ahead. 8%, 8%, 8%. I guess 8% should be the right answer. Yeah. Same answer from everyone. So let's see. So at what annual rate of simple interest will a sum of rupees 32,000 yield an interest of 15,360 in 6 years? Okay. So what is this 32,000? What is this 32,000? Is it principal amount or interest? Perfect. Principal. So principal is 32,000. Time period is 6 years. And simple interest is 15,360. And we need to find the rate of interest, isn't it? So using the same formula, SI 15,360 is equal to PTR by 100. So let the rate of interest be R. So 32,000 into 6 years into rate by 100. So R is equal to, this will be 256. So rate of interest is equal to 256 by 32, which will be 8%, isn't it? So 16, 16, 16 twos, 8. So rate of interest should be 8%. So the answer for this question should be 8%. Clear? If sum is specified, is it always refers to principal? No. if for example, okay, a sum will yield an interest of, a sum will yield an interest of, let us say 1,000 rupees in 2 years at rate something. So in these cases, this sum refers to a principal. Okay, so when a sum, okay, when an amount is in or in another type of question, when 25,000, okay, is invested at an interest rate of 10% for 2 years, okay, you will receive a sum at the end of 2 years as 30,000, for example. In that case, this will be the amount. Okay, so you don't, you cannot go on this word called sum. Okay, so you need to identify whether it is a principal or amount. So in this question, at what annual rate of simple interest a sum of 32,000 yield an interest? So which yields interest? Principal, because interest is always calculated on the principal. So this sum corresponds to principal, isn't it? If it is given that at the end of 5 years you will receive a sum of 32,000, then it would be principal. Sorry, it would be amount. Clear? Yes. Now moving ahead. Okay, so this, I guess this is the fourth type of question where you are asked to determine the time period. Yeah, perfect. 8 years 3 months? No, it should be 6 years 3 months. The answer should be 6.25 years. Okay. Now, so in how much time will a sum of 24,000? So 24,000 at 6% per annum simple interest yield an interest of 9,000. Okay. Now what is this 24,000? Is it amount or principal? This is principal because this sum is yielding an interest of 9,000, isn't it? So we are given with principal as 24,000. Okay, the rate of interest is 6%. Okay, we have got a simple interest of 9,000 at the end of, we do not know. We need to find the time period, isn't it? Let the time period be t. So simple interest 9,000 is equal to P 24,000 into T into 6 by 100. So these two will get cancelled. This is 15. So T is equal to 150 by 24, isn't it? 150 by 24, can it be simplified? Yes, 350 by 8 or 25 by 4. So 25 by 4 is nothing but 6.25 years. So the answer for this question should be 6.25 years, 6 years, 3 months or 75 months. Clear guys? Any doubts? Quick responses please. No. Now moving ahead. So till now, okay, we are given with either 3 variables and we are asked to find the 4th variable. Okay, and moving to next model. So I will give you 1.5 minutes to solve this. We'll discuss this after 1.5 minutes. So if you have understood the concept of simple interest, you should have answered this. You would have answered this in less than 30 seconds, isn't it? Question పెద్దది, solution చాలా చిన్నది. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Now, the simple interest on a certain sum for the third year is 24,800. So, SI for third year is equal to 24,800. You need to determine the sum of uh, the simple interest accrued on the same sum for fifth, sixth, and seventh years. Sixth and seventh years. Okay. Now, if I say, if we are given that for third year, the simple interest accrued is 24,800. What will be the simple interest accrued in the fifth year? It will be same, isn't it? In simple interest, the interest part is same for all the years. Okay, so it will be 24,800 for fifth year, and it will be 24,800 for sixth as well as seventh year. So what was asked in the question? Find the sum of simple interest. Find the sum of simple interests, isn't it? For fifth, sixth, and seventh years. So that will be 24,800 into 3. 0, 0, 4, 2, 14, 1. So the answer for this question should be 74,400, isn't it? So if you have understood the concept of simple interest, you should have solved this in less than 30 seconds. Clear, guys? Quick responses, please. Clear? Yes. So moving ahead. So you have 1.5 minutes. We'll discuss this after 1.5 minutes. My simple interest, okay, simple interest accrued in every year is same, gada. So if it will be same for first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, and all the years. Ravali, yeah. So we have three different answers for this question: 24, 42, 48. 24. Okay. So let's understand this. So in this question, a sum doubles in 6 years at simple interest. So in how many years will the sum become 8 times of itself at the same rate of interest? Okay. Now for example, let us consider that I have deposited P rupees in a bank. Okay. After 6 years, what is the amount that I will receive? According to the question, I have deposited, yeah, 2P, isn't it? Okay. So what is this 2P? 2P is the amount at the end of 6 years, and this amount is equal to principal plus interest, isn't it? Principal plus interest. Now what is the principal here? Principal is P. So 2P is equal to P plus the interest part. Okay. Or what can you say about interest part? Interest is equal to principal. After how many years? 6 years. After 6 years, the interest that you receive is equal to the principal amount. Clear? Clear, guys? Any doubts? Quick responses. Okay. Now here, okay. Malli cheppali. Okay. So, for example, let us consider I have deposited P rupees in a bank. Okay, and it is given that a sum doubles in 6 years. So after 6 years, this P has become 2P, isn't it? Under simple interest. Is it clear till here? Yes. So what is this 2P? 2P is nothing but the amount that I have received after 2 years. Sorry, after 6 years. Okay. So amount will be equal to principal plus interest. And what is the principal? I have deposited P rupees, isn't it? So principal is P, amount I am getting 2P after 6 years. So what was the interest accrued in all these 6 years? Interest is equal to P. Is it clear now? Clear? Okay, 5 and 6. Is it clear? Okay. Now, let us understand. Okay, what do we have with us? Now we have simple interest accrued in these 6 years. So SI is equal to P, principal is equal to P, time period is equal to 6. What should be determined? What can be determined? Rate of interest, isn't it? Rate. We can determine the rate of interest. Okay. So simple interest P is equal to P into T into R by 100. Okay. Here, or this is simple interest. Here simple interest is equal to P. Principal is P. 1 minute. Sorry. Time period is 6 years. Let the rate of interest be R by 100. Or this implies the rate of interest here is 100 by 6. Okay, so when the rate of interest is 100 by 6%, a sum doubles itself in 6 years. Okay, now we need to find in how many years will the sum become 8 times. Okay, now this is the amount. Okay, amount is equal to principal plus interest. Okay, and this amount should be 8P, isn't it? So P plus interest. So the interest component should be equal to 7P. So we need to find the time period. Okay. So in which an interest of 7P will be accrued. Okay. Now we have P as principal. We have rate of interest as 100 by 6. We have simple interest as 7P. We need to determine time. So use the same formula. Simple interest 7P is equal to P into T. We have to determine the time period. Rate of interest is 100 by 6 by 100. P and P will get cancelled. 100. So T is equal to 42 years. So the answer for this question is 42 years. Okay, it's not 24 years. Okay, so why did you take 24 years here? How did you get 24? So you have considered interest as 4P here, isn't it? So you have considered principal as 4P and interest as 4P. But principal is not 4P. Principal remains same. Principal will be P only. Clear? So the interest component should be 7P. That's what you guys have done, isn't it? Those who answered this question as 24. You have considered principal to be 4P, but the principal should be constant in simple interest. So principal P untundi, the interest should be 7P. Yes? See, S1 by S2 is equal to R1 by R2. When is that? When time period is constant. Simple interest depends on principal, rate of interest, and time period, isn't it? When time period and principal are constant, then S1 by S2 is equal to R1 by R2. Here, which is constant? Only principal. Time period is changing, isn't it? Then how can you take S1 by S2 is equal to R1 by R2? Uday Kiran, is your doubt clear? So from 1 to 6 and 7 to 42, that will be a tedious process. So in, instead of doing like that, okay, first determine what is required to answer this. You need rate. Can we calculate rate? Yes, by using this. Why are we given with this statement? A sum doubles in 6 years at simple interest. So you are given with simple interest, principal and 6 years. Okay, what is required? Rate of interest. So you need to identify that, find the rate of interest. Okay, so in how many years will the sum become 8 times of itself? Now you have principal, you have rate of interest. Can't you find time period? Yes, isn't it? So simple interest SI1 by SI2 will be P1 R1 T1 by P2 R2 T2. Because simple interest varies with principal, varies with rate, and varies with time also. Got it? Yes, Varun? So identify what is required, solve for it, then use it, and then find what is asked in the question. Clear, guys? Any doubts? Quick responses. But P and R are same. So SI1 will be how much? P. SI2 will be 7P. Isn't it? Any doubts in this question? Quick responses. Yeah. So this is one good question. So I'll give you 1.5 minutes. We'll discuss this after 1.5 minutes. Yes, guys, time's up. Now, can I have quick responses, please? Sorry, can I have your attention, please? Yes. So a certain sum amounts to 57,600 at the end of 5 years and rupees 48,960 at the end of 3 years, both being at simple interest. Find the rate of interest as well as the sum. So we need to find the principal as well as rate of interest, isn't it? Now in simple interest, can I say that the interest accrued in each year will remain same? If the simple interest In first year is I, second year is also will be I. In third year also it will be I. Now, amount at the end of 5 years. Amount at the end of 5 years is given to be 57,600. Now, can I write this as P plus 5I, where P is the principal and I is the interest accrued in each year? Yes or no? Quick responses. Isn't it? Because interest accrued will be same for each year. Okay. Now, amount at the end of 3 years is equal to 48,960, and this will be principal plus interest accrued in 3 years will be 3I. Now we have two variables here, two equations. Now let's solve them. Okay, so what do we have here? 0, 4, 6 and 8640 is equal to P and P will get cancelled 2I, or I can say interest is equal to 4320. Now we have interest. I will substitute here and I will find the principal in any of these two equations, and I will find the principal. So what is the principal here? Can someone help me with that? 36,000. No? Okay. So principal is equal to 36,000, isn't it? Now what is I? Interest accrued in 1 year. So we have interest accrued in 1 year. We have a principal. We have time period. Time period is equal to 1 year. Can't we find the rate of interest? So 4320 is equal to 36,000 into time period is 1 year into rate of interest by 100. So this will be equal to 432 by 36. So this will be 360. 72 by 36 is 2. So the rate of interest is 12%. Clear? So this is the easy way to solve this question. Okay. So how many of you have considered the formula of amount? Like that will be P plus PTR by 100. How many of you try to solve it like that? You can also try to solve it like that, but it will be a tedious process. So unlike that, yeah, it requires more time. Unlike that, if you can identify this part, that the interest will be same for all the years. Okay. So your job will be easy. So the answer for this question should be 12% and 36,000. Clear, guys? Quick responses, please. Yes. So consider this as a homework. T is equal to 1. Okay, how is T is equal to 1? Because what is I here? This is interest accrued in 1 year, isn't it? What is I here? Interest accrued in 1 year. We are talking about the interest accrued in 1 year. So time period will be 1. Did you get it now? Okay. Yeah. So consider this as a homework, easy question. So the answer for this should be 25,000. Okay. Now moving to compound interest. Now first let's understand how is compound interest different from simple interest. Okay. So let's consider the previous example. So here in year 1, I have 10,000 rupees with me, which I have deposited in a bank at a rate of 10% per annum. Okay, so interest for that year, interest will always be calculated on principal. So 10% of 10K, which will be 1,000. Since this is the starting year, the cumulative interest will also be 1,000, and the amount at the end of 1 year will be 10,000 plus 1,000, 11,000, isn't it? Now what will be the principal for second year? Will it be 10,000 or what? Or will it be different? Yes, it won't be 10,000. The principal amount will be 11,000. Okay. So the amount at the end of a year will become the principal for the next year. Okay, so that's the difference between compound interest and simple interest. Okay, so the amount at the end of first year will become principal for the second year. Now interest will always be calculated on principal. So 10% of 11k, which is 1100. So the cumulative interest will be 1000 plus 1100, 2100. And the amount at the end of 2 years will be principal plus cumulative interest. 10,000 plus 2100, 12,100. Now for third year, what will be the principal be? The principal will be 12,100. The principal for the third year will be 12,100. Interest 10% of 12,100, which is 1210. Now the cumulative interest will be 2,100 is for 2 years, and in the third year you have received 1210 rupees. So it will be 3310. This is the cumulative interest, and the amount at the end of 3 years will be 10,000 plus 3310, 13,310 rupees. The amount at the end of 3 years will be 13,310 rupees. So if you observe, for the same under simple interest, the amount at the end of first year is 11,000, this is 12,000, and this is 13,000. Okay, so which is more profitable, compound interest or simple interest?
Compound interest.
Compound interest.
Sir,
When you are lending money, then compound interest will be profitable. When you are borrowing money, simple interest will be profitable. Okay, clear? So if you observe, compound interest is always like, if you leave the first year, compound interest is more for second, third, and for the following years as well when compared to simple interest. Okay, because no interest is also profit, but you won't get those type of loans, isn't it? Okay, so except for first year, compound interest will always be greater than simple interest. Okay, now do we have a formula to calculate compound interest? No, I'm not only the compound interest part. For example, like simple interest, we have PTR by 100, isn't it? Now, do we have a direct formula to calculate compound interest? No. We have a formula to calculate the amount at the end of n years, isn't it? Given by P in amount is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 power n. We have direct formula to calculate amount at the end of n years, where P is the principal, n is number of years, and R is interest rate of interest per annum. Okay, for example, if I consider this, let me calculate the amount at the end of 3 years. That will be equal to principal is 10,000 into 1 plus rate of interest is 10%, so 10 by 100 is 1 by 10 cube. So this will be 10,000 into 11 cube, which is 1331 by 10 cube, which is 1000. So this will be equal to 13,310. What is this? This is the amount that we will receive at the end of 3 years. So if you want to calculate the only the compound interest, then what need to be done? You need to subtract principal from this amount. So this 3,310 will be your compound interest. Amount is equal to principal plus compound interest. To find the compound interest, you need to deduct principal from the amount. Clear? So this is same as this. Okay. Rate, here I have considered rate is 10%, isn't it? So 10 by 100 is 1 by 10. Yes. Yeah. So any doubts in compound interest? So compound interest will involve lot of calculations. That's why I too consider compound interest uh, difficult when you're comparing simple interest and compound interest. I rather consider simple interest easy, isn't it? Okay. Now let's solve some questions on compound interest so that our concepts will become stronger. Okay, so the first question of today on compound interest. We have one response, guys. So, okay, so we have two different responses, 17640 and 1640. So what should be the answer? What was asked in the question? Are we asked to find the amount at the end of 2 years or compound interest? You're asked to determine the compound interest, isn't it? Okay. So what is the compound interest on rupees 16,000 at 5% per annum for 2 years? So here principal is 16,000, rate of interest is 5%, and n is 2 years. So amount at the end of 2 years will be P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power n, isn't it? So P is 16,000, 1 plus R is 5, 5 by 100, I will consider that as 1 by 20 to the power, the value of n is 2. So 16,000 into 21 square by 20 square. So this is 16,000 into 21 square is 441 by 400. So this is 40. So 40 into 441. Can someone help me with the calculation part? 17,640. Yeah. 17,640. So what is this 17,640? Is it compound interest? No. This is the amount that we will be receiving after 2 years. So to find the compound interest part, you need to subtract principal from this amount. So 1640. So out of the 17,640 that you will receive at the end of 2 years, 16,000 is the principal and remaining 1640 is nothing but the compound interest. Clear, guys? Don't forget this part. Clear? Quick responses. Yes. So moving ahead. So understand what is given in the question and try to solve what was asked in the question.
Run, run, run. Running.
8325, 8325. Okay, let's see. Now, what principal will yield 3,663 rupees as compound interest in 2 years at rate 20% per annum? So, we are given with rate 20% per annum, and is 2 years, and we are given with compound interest. Compound interest is equal to 3663, and we need to find the principal. Let the principal be P. Okay, so if principal is P and the compound interest is 3663, what will be the amount? P plus 3663, isn't it? The amount will be equal to principal plus compound interest. Okay, and amount at the end of 2 years, this is nothing but the amount at the end of 2 years is equal to P into 1 plus 20 by 100 is 1 by 5 power 2. Okay, so this will be P plus 3663 is equal to P into 6 by 5 square. So this is nothing but 36 by 25P. Or if I cross multiply, I will have 25P plus 3663 into 25 is equal to 36P. This implies if I bring this 25P here, I will be having 11P is equal to 3663 into 25. This is 3 and this is again 3. So principal is equal to 333 into 25. Can someone help me out with calculation part? 8325. Huh? Okay. So this is nothing but 8325. So what was asked in the question? To determine the principal. So the answer for this question should be 8325. Clear, guys? Any doubts? Quick responses? No. Okay. So moving ahead. Eighteen. Okay. So we have unanimous answer here. 18. So a sum of money lent at compound interest. So let me consider that amount as P. Triples itself in 9 years. So this P will become 3P in 9 years. Okay, in how many years will it amount to 9 times of itself? Okay, so by using this data, can I say that 3P is equal to P into 1 plus, let the rate of interest be R by 100 to the power of 9, isn't it? 3P is the amount, okay, is equal to principal into 1 plus R by 100 power 9, isn't it? So what can I get from this equation? 1 plus R by 100 power 9 is equal to 3. first equation. Okay, from this you can determine the value of r by r, and that's not required. Okay, now we need to find in how many years. Okay, it will amount to 9 times of itself. So let the number of years be n. Okay, so in this case 9p will be equal to p into 1 plus r by 100 power n, and we need to find the value of n. Okay, so this implies if I cancel this, 1 plus r by 100 power n is equal to 9. Yes, quick responses. This is equation 2. Now what I will do is I will write 9 as 3 square. Okay, so 1 plus r by 100 power n is equal to 3 square. Now 1 plus r by 100 power 9 is equal to 3. So I will replace 3 with 1 plus r by 100 power 9. So this implies 1 plus r by 100 power n is equal to 1 plus r by 100 power 9 whole power 3. And what is a power m whole power n? Sorry, whole power 2. Sorry, my bad. This is 2. A power mn, isn't it? No, it's not a power m plus n. A power m into a power n is equal to a power m plus n. Okay, a power m whole power n is equal to a power mn. Okay, so I can say that this will be 1 plus r by 100 whole power n is equal to 1 plus r by 100 whole power 18. Now here we have two numbers. Okay, a power n is equal to a power m. So when the bases are equal, can I say that the exponents will also be equal? If it is given that a power n is equal to a power m, when bases are equal, the exponent should be equal. So here the base is 1 plus r by 100 in each side. So I can say that the value of n is 18. So the answer for this question should be 18 years. Perfect. Clear, guys? Any doubts? How many of you have done in this way? I think everyone, yeah, would have done in this way. Clear? So can I move to next question? Yes. Moving ahead. So you have 1.5 minutes. We'll discuss this after 1.5 minutes. So when we take a bank loan, will it be under simple interest or compound interest? It will be compound interest, ma. Okay, because when you pay EMI, your principal will be reducing. Okay, your principal will change. When you pay some amount, your principal will change. Okay, so let's look at this question. So Satish invested 2.5 lakhs. So I will be considering this in lakhs. 2.5 lakhs for 3 years. Interest being compounded annually. Okay. If the rate of interest is 8% for first year, 10% for second year, and 12% for third year, then find the total interest earned by Satish. Now let us consider first year. Okay. So the principal is 2.5 lakhs. So amount at the end of first year will be 2.5 into 1 plus 8 by 100, isn't it? This will be my amount at the end of first year. Okay. And what will this be? This amount will be principal of the second year, isn't it? So in second year, this will be principal for the second year. Amount at the end of second year will be equal to principal at the start of second year, which is equal to amount at the end of first year. Okay, so 2.5 into 1 plus 8 by 100. This is the principal for the second year into what was the rate of interest? 1 plus 10%. So it will be 1 plus 10 by 100. Isn't it? Now this will be amount at the end of second year. This will be principal for third year. Isn't it? So amount at the end of third year, will be equal to 2.5 into 1 plus 8 by 100 into 1 plus 10 by 100. This is principal at the start of third year. Amount will be 1 plus 12 by 100. Okay. So the total amount will be equal to 2.5 lakh into 1.08 into 1.1 into 1.12. Can someone help me with this calculation? And this will be in lakhs. Can someone help me with the calculation part? What will be 2.5 into 1.08 into 1.1 into 1.12? 3.32640. Okay. So this will be 3.32640 lakhs. Okay. Now what was asked in the question? We need to determine the total interest earned by Satish. This is amount at the end of third year. This value is amount. So to determine the compound interest part, you need to subtract principal from amount. So 3.32640 minus 2.5. So this will be 0.8264 lakhs, or it should be 82,640 rupees. Yeah. So 82,640 should be the answer for this question. Clear, guys? Any doubts? Quick responses, please. No. Okay. So moving ahead. So I'll give you 1 minute to answer this question. We'll discuss this after 1 minute. We need we need not see. We have to subtract principal, the starting principal, because we are asked to find the total interest earned by Satish, total interest in all these 3 years. Okay. When will you subtract principal of the third year? When you need to know the interest earned in third year, isn't it? So we are asked to determine the total interest earned by Satish. So we have to subtract the initial principal, because he has earned some interest in the first year, some interest in the second year, and some interest in the third year. Did you get it, Shravya? If you are asked to determine the interest earned only in third year, then you will be subtracting third year principal only. Got it? Okay. Okay. So how many of you are calculating simple interest for 2 years, compounding interest for 2 years, and finding the difference? How many of you are doing that? Quick responses. Okay. So don't you consider it lengthy? Don't you consider it lengthy? Yes. So we have a shortcut, guys. So please do understand this. When you are given with difference between compound interest and simple interest for 2 years with same sum of rupees, for same sum of rupees at same rate of interest, okay, then the difference will be equal to Ci minus Si will be equal to P into R by 100 whole square. Okay, please remember this. When can we use this? Only when we are given with the difference between compound interest and simple interest for 2 years under same principle at same rate of interest. Okay, so here it is given that the difference is 2250. So this is equal to P. We need to find P and R is given as 15. 15 by 100 whole square. So 2250 is equal to P into 225 by 10,000. So this is 10, or principal is equal to 10 into 10,000, 1 lakh rupees. So the principal here is 1 lakh. Yeah, this is only valid for 2 years. This formula you can use only if the difference, if we are given with the difference between compound interest and simple interest for 2 years. Okay, we have a different formula for 3 years as well, but in CRT, okay, questions with the difference between compound interest and simple interest for 3 years has not been asked till now. But if you want to write the formula, you can write it down. So compound interest minus simple interest, this is for 3 years, will be 3 times of this, 3p into r by 100 whole square plus p into r by 100 whole cube. How to solve without using formula? This shortcut is not, this is not a shortcut. For example, how do you find interest, compound interest for 2 years? P into 1 plus r by 100 whole square minus p, isn't it? Okay, so this is p into 1 plus r square by 100 square plus 2 into pr by 100. Just simple abbreviation, minus p. Okay, if you observe, this p and this will get cancelled. You will have p into r by 100 square plus, sorry, this is 2r by 100, isn't it? You will have 2pr by 100. Okay, what is simple interest for 2 years? It will be 2pr by 100. These two will get cancelled and you are left with p into r by 100 whole square. Okay, this is a resultant of this. Okay, this is one formula which you can directly apply. Okay, clear? So moving ahead. So till now we have discussed problems in which the compounding is done annually. The compounding is done only once in a year. Now what if the compounding is done twice a year or thrice a year? Okay. Now if the compounding is done k times in a year at the rate of r% per annum, this should be per annum. Okay. Then in n years, the principal P will amount to, we have a formula for this. Okay, so amount at the end of n years will be equal to P into 1 plus R by K into 100 power Kn. So the only challenge here is determining the value of K. Nothing else. Okay. Now let's understand how to determine the value of K. Now if I say that an amount is compounding half yearly, okay, and then what will be the value of K? Can someone tell me that?
2, sir.
2, isn't it? So it is compounding every 6 months. So it will get compounded twice. So compounding half yearly is equal to compounding twice, isn't it? Please understand this. Compounding twice, which is also equal to compounding every 6 months. Okay, if you are given with this value, okay, compounding 2 times or 3 times, K is equal to this. Okay, if it is given that compounding quarterly, then what will be the value of K?
Four.
Yeah, I got. It is 4, not 3, guys. Okay, it is 4. Compounding quarterly ante it compounds every 3 months. So when you have this, okay, if it is compounding every 3 months, then in 1 year it will be compounded 4 times, isn't it? So if you are given with months, divide 12 by that months and you will get the value of K here. Okay, if it is given that it is compounding every 4 months, then the value of K will be 3. Okay, so compounding 4 times, the value of K is 4. Or compounding quarterly, the value of K is 4. Okay, so let's understand this by solving this question. Now you can use your calculator or you can just tell me the approximate value. Exact value is not required because there will be lot of calculations in this. What's the value of K here? It's 2, it's not 1 by 2, it's not 1 by 4. Okay, so you can answer these type of questions when you find the value of K. K వచ్చేస్తే ఇంకేం లేదు కదా. Okay, because amount is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100. మామూలుగా అయితే 1 plus R by 100 power n. Okay, and since it is compounding K times in an year, it is K by 100, sorry, it is K into 100 and K into n. You can answer this question if you get the value of K. Okay, so compounded half yearly, so it's compounding for every 6 months. So 12 divided by 6, so it will get compounded twice in 1 year. So the value of K is 2. So just substitute the value of K here. Okay, so P is 12,500 into 1 plus R is 20%, 20 by 2 into 100. Our K is equal to 2 and n is 2 years. So 2 into 2. So this is equal to 12,500 into this will be 1 by 10. So 11 by 10 power 4. So can someone tell me this value? Okay, 18301.25. Okay, so this will be 18,301.25. Perfect. 18,301.25. Okay, so the key to solve these questions is to find the value of P. Sorry, value of K. Okay, so the last question of today. So the amount is compounding every 4 months. So what will be the value of K? 4 or 3? 3. Perfect.
3, sir.
3. So if it is compounding every 4 months, once in 4 months, it will get compounded thrice, isn't it? So just substitute the value of K there. 1 minute, guys. Okay. So the formula is simple. Amount is equal to P. Here P is 10 lakhs into 1 plus R is 12% by K into 100 power K into number of years is 1. So we need to find the value of K. So it is compounding every 4 months. So 12 by 4. So the value of K is equal to 3. So this will be equal to 10 lakhs into 1 plus 12 by 3 into 100 over 3. So this will be 10 into 1 plus this is 4. 4 by 100 is 0.4. Oh, sorry, 0.04 to the power of 3. So 10 into 1.04 cube. So can someone tell me with this value? 1128, 1124, 864. Okay. So it will be 11 lakhs 24,864. Let's see. 24,864. Perfect. Okay. So yes, so these are the models on which questions will be asked from SI and CI. So any doubts in today's class, guys? Quick responses. Any doubts in today's class? No, isn't it? Because I consider SICI to be a simple chapter. Okay, if you know the formula, you can solve any question from SICI. Clear? So thank you, guys. Okay, we'll call it a day. We'll see you guys in the next class.